HOA Karen secretly installed security cameras on my yard. She didn't know that's a felony. You're in your backyard, your sanctuary after a long day's work. It's where you unwind, take important calls, and breathe in the fresh air. But what if this private space wasn't as private as you thought? What if every move, every conversation, every moment of solitude was being secretly recorded? This isn't the plot of a thriller novel. This was my reality. My name is John Tyler, and I've lived in this quiet suburban neighborhood for the past 5 years. Our community is governed by a homeowners association, HOA, which aims to maintain property values and community standards. As a homeowner, I've always valued my privacy and the security of my personal space. Little did I know, these fundamental rights were about to be challenged in the most unexpected way. In this true story, I'll take you through the shocking discovery of illegal surveillance in my own backyard, the confrontation with my neighbor Karen, and the legal battle that ensued. This isn't just my story, it's a wake-up call about the importance of privacy rights and the power of taking a stand against injustice. Before we dive deeper into this unsettling tale, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you believe in the power of sharing real stories that matter, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more of these important narratives to light. Have you ever had that eerie feeling that someone was watching you in your own home? How far would you go to protect your privacy? As we unravel this story, I want you to put yourself in my shoes. What would you do if you discovered that your every move was being secretly recorded? I'm a middle-aged professional who values privacy above all else. Growing up in a bustling city, I learned early on the importance of having a personal sanctuary. My home, especially my backyard, became that safe haven where I could unwind, make personal calls, and simply be myself without prying eyes. This sense of privacy isn't just a preference, it's a fundamental part of my well-being and mental health. Our neighborhood is a quiet suburban enclave with well-maintained homes and manicured lawns. It's early 2025, and our community is governed by a strict homeowners association, HOA, that aims to maintain property values and community standards. The HOA rules cover everything from lawn maintenance to exterior modifications, but they've always been reasonable until now. Karen is our next-door neighbor and the newly elected HOA president. She's known for her meticulous adherence to rules and her, let's say, enthusiastic approach to community improvement. Our interactions have been cordial but increasingly tense, especially since she took office 6 months ago. It was a typical Tuesday evening when I noticed something odd glinting from the tree near our shared fence. Upon closer inspection, I was shocked to discover a small, high-definition camera pointed directly at my backyard. The realization that my private space had been invaded sent a chill down my spine. In our state, it's generally legal to have security cameras on your property, but they must not infringe on others' reasonable expectation of privacy. Recording private areas like bedrooms, bathrooms, or fenced backyards without consent is strictly prohibited. Moreover, our HOA bylaws require approval for any exterior modifications, including security camera installations. What would you do if you discovered someone had installed cameras on your property without permission? Would you confront them directly or seek legal advice first? The moment I realized the cameras were there is etched into my memory. It was a warm Tuesday evening, and I was in my backyard, unwinding after a long day at work. As the setting sun cast long shadows across the lawn, I noticed an unusual glint coming from the old oak tree near the fence line. At first, I dismissed it as a trick of the light, but something nagged at me. I walked closer, my heart rate quickening with each step. As I approached the tree, my worst fears were confirmed. There, nestled among the branches and carefully camouflaged, was a small, high-definition camera pointed directly at my patio. The realization hit me like a physical blow. My private space, my sanctuary, had been invaded. I felt a mix of emotions wash over me: shock, anger, and a deep sense of violation. Questions raced through my mind. How long had this been here? What had it recorded? And most importantly, who was behind this? I scanned the area and discovered not one, but 3 cameras strategically placed to cover every angle of my backyard. The level of planning and deliberation involved made my blood run cold. This wasn't a random act, it was a calculated invasion of privacy. After the initial shock wore off, I knew I had to act. My first instinct was to confront Karen directly, but I realized that could potentially escalate the situation without any resolution. Instead, I decided to approach this methodically. First, I documented everything. I took photos and videos of the cameras, noting their positions and the areas they covered. I also started a detailed log of when I discovered them and any previous suspicious behavior I could recall. Next, I reviewed our HOA bylaws and state laws regarding privacy and surveillance. Armed with this information, I drafted a formal complaint to the HOA board detailing the discovery of the cameras and how they violated both HOA rules and state laws. I then requested an emergency HOA meeting to address this serious breach of privacy. In the meantime, I sent a certified letter to Karen, demanding the immediate removal of the cameras and an explanation for their installation. The situation quickly escalated from there. Karen, instead of addressing the issue, denied any knowledge of the cameras. She claimed they must have been installed by a previous homeowner, despite the cameras being clearly new models. The emergency HOA meeting was tense, to say the least. Karen, as the HOA president, tried to downplay the severity of the situation. However, other board members and neighbors were shocked by the revelation. The board voted to launch an official investigation. As days passed without the cameras being removed, I realized I needed to take more decisive action. I consulted with a lawyer specializing in privacy law and HOA disputes. With their guidance, I filed a police report for illegal surveillance and initiated legal proceedings against both Karen and the HOA for failing to promptly address the violation. The road to justice was far from smooth. One of the biggest challenges was gathering concrete evidence linking Karen to the installation of the cameras. She had been careful not to leave a paper trail. Another obstacle was the divided response from the community. While many neighbors supported me, others felt I was overreacting or causing unnecessary drama. Some even suggested that increased surveillance could benefit the neighborhood's security. The legal process itself was daunting. Navigating the complexities of privacy laws, HOA regulations, and court procedures was often overwhelming. There were moments when the stress and financial burden made me question whether it was worth pursuing. Throughout this ordeal, my support system proved invaluable. My family stood by me unwaveringly, offering emotional support and helping me maintain perspective when things got tough. A group of neighbors formed an unofficial support committee, helping gather information and rally community support. They attended HOA meetings en masse to ensure the board couldn't sweep the issue under the rug. My lawyer became not just a legal advisor but a steadfast ally, guiding me through each step of the process and reassuring me of the righteousness of our cause. Unexpectedly, I also found support online. After sharing my story on a community forum, I connected with others who had faced similar privacy violations. Their experiences and advice proved incredibly helpful. How far would you go to protect your privacy and rights? Would you be willing to face community backlash or financial strain to stand up for what you believe is right? Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between keeping the peace and fighting for your principles? The legal action against Karen and the HOA resulted in a decisive victory for privacy rights. The court ruled that Karen's actions were a clear violation of both state privacy laws and HOA regulations. As a consequence, 1. Karen was ordered to remove all unauthorized cameras immediately and pay a substantial fine for privacy invasion. 2. The HOA was held liable for failing to properly oversee board members' actions and enforce its own rules. 3. A new policy was implemented requiring explicit homeowner consent and HOA board approval for any surveillance equipment installation in the community. 4. Karen was removed from her position on the HOA board and barred from serving again for 10 years. 5. The HOA was required to refund all fines ever issued related to privacy violations, with interest. This case highlights several crucial themes. 1. Privacy as a fundamental right. The court's decision reaffirmed that privacy is not just a luxury, but a basic human right that must be protected. 2. The importance of community vigilance. It took one person standing up to make a difference for the entire neighborhood. 3. The power of legal action. Sometimes, taking a stand through proper legal channels is necessary to effect change. 4. The need for accountability in community governance. HOAs and their board members must be held responsible for their actions and decisions. This experience underscores the critical importance of standing up for your rights, even when faced with intimidation or community pressure. By taking action, not only did we protect our own privacy, but we also set a precedent that will benefit the entire community for years to come. It serves as a reminder that our rights are only as strong as our willingness to defend them. What do you think is the most important lesson from this story? Is it the power of individual action, the importance of privacy rights, or the need for accountability in community governance? How might this story inspire you to stand up for your own rights or the rights of others in your community? As we conclude this story, I want to encourage all of you to be proactive in protecting your privacy. 1. Know your rights. Familiarize yourself with local and state privacy laws, as well as any HOA regulations if you live in such a community. 2. Stay vigilant. Regularly inspect your property for any signs of unauthorized surveillance. This includes not just cameras, but also listening devices or suspicious Wi-Fi networks. 3. Document everything. If you suspect a privacy violation, start documenting immediately. Take photos, keep a detailed log, and save any relevant communications. 4. Seek legal advice. Don't hesitate to consult with a lawyer specializing in privacy law if you believe your rights have been violated. Many offer free initial consultations. 5. Engage with your community. Attend HOA meetings, participate in local government, and foster open communication with your neighbors. A united community is a stronger defense against privacy invasions. 6. Advocate for stronger privacy protections. Support legislation and policies that enhance privacy rights in your area. Remember, your right to privacy is worth fighting for. Don't let fear or the desire to avoid conflict prevent you from standing up for yourself and your community. This experience has fundamentally changed how I view privacy and community responsibility. It's easy to take our rights for granted until they're threatened. But when we stand up against injustice, we not only protect ourselves, but also set a powerful example for others. The impact of taking a stand ripples far beyond our immediate situation. In this case, it led to policy changes that will protect our entire community for years to come. It sparked important conversations about privacy, accountability, and the proper use of technology in our neighborhoods. Moreover, it reminded us all that democracy and justice don't just happen in courtrooms or voting booths. They happen in our everyday lives, in the small but crucial decisions we make to uphold our values and protect our rights. As you go forward from here, I challenge you to be the guardian of your own privacy and an advocate for the rights of those around you. Remember, every time we stand up for what's right, we make our communities and our world a little bit better. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and never underestimate the power of one person to make a difference.